Okay, so I finished Finality earlier, the demo. And I gotta say, I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. I was actually very impressed. There's quite a few things that I really enjoyed about the demo. Quite a few things that need a lot of work. So I'm going to be a bit rambling here because this is just off the top of my head. I'm not really. I didn't have anything written, anything planned, as it were. But yeah, so like there's a couple things like the Alex voice is quite rough. And that's just from the performance itself, but also the audio mixing is not ideal. There's a lot of times that she'll be speaking, and you won't be able to hear her at all. And then the very next line, it's like her volume is at 500%. Another thing is there's a lot of parts of the map design that are very questionable, where you'll come upon a path. And this is not an example. I just happen to be looking here. But you'll be like, oh, I'm at the end of a tunnel. Here's a path to the left. Here's a path to the right. And there's no clear indication as to which way you're supposed to go. Now, if it was like this, you'd be like, oh, well, that doesn't look right. And this has all these light indicators. Obviously, this is the right way. So if I want to explore, maybe I'll go this way. But this is obviously the route the game creators intended me to take. There's so many times in the maps that you'll run off on your own. You run into a ton of enemies, and like you do get rewarded. But a lot of times, especially I play on hard, I don't feel like you're rewarded enough. So I go out of my way, and I don't even realize it's out of my way because I thought that I was going the correct way, only for me to run into a lot of enemies, get punished, and come out of it bleeding and bruised and lacking ammo. But I wanted to complain about this map because, number one, when you start this map, the music is so good. And I mean, it is extremely good. And then there's a fight that breaks out. By the way, this is the very last map of the demo. But then a fight breaks out, and it turns into total chaos. And now, mind you, I like chaos, and especially on a map like this. And actually, I'll show you the sheer scale of it. So you come down off the mountain there, you come down here, and then you have to work your way through, and there's all sorts of things that you have to do in every other building here. But then every type of zombie comes out. Every type of combine soldier comes out. And so they're fighting each other, they're fighting you, and there are so many of them that come out. It was actually ridiculous. On normal difficulty, on easy difficulty, it would probably be okay. But again, I'm playing on hard difficulty for some reason. And it was absolutely obscene. Oh, and then there were hunters, and there was an APC. And you don't get a rocket launcher. So the APC, you have to fight otherwise. But my thing is, so there's an APC that eventually you find out comes from this area that I'm looking at right now. Now, I didn't know that because I was running around like a madman fighting, you know, every creature on God's green earth. And so that there's three things with a power that you have to do, and then it opens that up. Then the APC comes out, you fight it. Except I was up there fighting for my life with the APC because the APC was coming after me, but so were, you know, combine soldiers. So I had no indication that the APC even came from this direction. It's not like, I feel like a lot of other like Half-Life 2 type maps, there'd be maybe a switch up here or something like that where you'd be looking at this, you'd see the lights turn, you'd see the gates open, then you hear the APC come. But that's not the case here. I was up somewhere completely different, which, by the way, I just want to say, whoever did like the environmental sound, like just now, like the lightning and the wind, is just, oh my goodness, such a good job. But anyways, so I had no idea where that APC even came from originally. All I heard was Alex scream about an APC and then me running for the hills. And eventually, I came to the realization that, you know, there was this area over here, and I was like, okay, all the lights are red now, and they correspond here, they connect, you know, my gamer brain's turning on, I have to go this way. And so I start coming this way, and in my mind, the game is telling you to follow the lights or follow the path, which happened to be the exact same course. so you end up here. And you're like, okay, well, how the heck do you get in there? And then I kind of looked around and I thought, okay, you know, maybe I'll look at it from like a different angle. And so like I'm going over here and I'm looking for loot and I'm like, maybe there's a button, you know, so like I'm looking for like power lines. Maybe there's something else I have to do to get access to this. And even as you can see now, Alex is nowhere near me. Her pathing has been having some issues, especially on this map. And I ran around for the longest time. And also, I thought these like snowballs were in some kind of pattern, but I think they are literally just completely randomized. But eventually, I no-clipped around, and I found that this is where you're supposed to go. Now, I realize it's a cave, and I'm not asking for bright yellow paint with a big arrow with a neon sign that says, "We're open for business. Come over here, Mr. Freeman." But that was so frustrating for me, and it really diminished such a good experience, honestly, for the entire demo. Like, I was having such a good time until this last map. And I have seen this a lot in a lot of Half-Life source mods over the years, where the creator doesn't want to make it too easy on you at the end. And we are used to the formula with Half-Life where you get to the end, there's a big fight. There's a lot of enemies, there's, you know, you get a lot of ammo, you get a lot of health, and you're off to the races. Here, there was a lot of enemies, but it was almost too many in my mind. The APC came out, and unless I missed it, I did not see a rocket launcher anywhere. I did have a box of grenades, but obviously I quickly went through those. And then actually the APC kept getting stuck. So I put on God mode and kept having to give him a little nudge. Because he kept getting stuck on that fence there. You can actually see I was up there at one point with the turret. He kept getting... Well, actually, here he is. Yeah, he got stuck here, and eventually I just gave up and just killed him here. He got stuck on that. He got stuck on the fence. So anyways, all that's to say, I am really looking forward to what comes out next with this mod. I actually forgot about it, and then I saw that a demo released, and I mean, just, oh my goodness, like, look at that. That's like, that is Mount Doom. That is the Demon King in his castle. Like, that is, like, there are so many things about this mod that are just breathtaking and amazing. And then you get into the gameplay, and sometimes it just falls so flat on your face. But I really wanted to just get my thoughts out, because there was another thing, speaking of the map. You see the road, and you can see that it's well-traveled. And so my assumption would be you go here, but you don't. Maybe if they had like the tunnel collapsed or something like that, some kind of visual indicator to the player that, yes, this was a path, this was something that the Combine took. But I read that wrong. I'm a child. Anyways, and this is an actual nitpick, but I saw these and I'm like, oh yeah, what is it, M249? Someone's going to drill me for that, but yeah, you can't use them. It's such a letdown. I was hoping to be able to like fight the APC with one of those, maybe pull it off and have limited ammo or something, but no. And actually, I'm going to start this map over just because I want you to see the initial music. And mind you too, like you were just fighting for your stinking life, and this is the view that they give you. The music comes in. So I can't quite put my finger on it, but something with Alex's like face, I don't know, something's off about it. And I mean, I do realize that we were just in a helicopter wrecked. But yeah, listen to that music. Oh my goodness, so good. And then when you get into the fight, all I'll say is bongos, drums. It's overpowering, and not in a good way. This is lovely.
I bet this is some sort of aperture research station. Be careful up ahead, Cord. We don't know what could be here.
And just to go back to the Alex voice acting, it's just a bit flat. There's times especially where, you know, something is going on, she's in trouble, you know, she's calling for help, and she's just speaking like this. And there's other times that, like, I can actually see where, you know, there's a bit of a... what's the word I'm looking for with the voice? By, like, you know, there's a range, there's, like, you know, pure, like, emotion, there's, like, you can... even though, like, you know, I'm not expecting AAA quality from the voice actor, or voice actress in this case. You know, there's times that I can see that they would do a good job. I think they just need coached on things. And I'm probably just being way too nitpicky. This is a demo after all, and this is the project that was actually using an AI fill-in for Alex temporarily. They got a lot of flack for that, which I felt was a little bit unnecessary because they were very upfront that they wanted the AI voice to be in the game instead of no voice. And it was mostly for their own sake, I think, for testing and stuff, so that they could go in and they would have the Alex voice coming to them, you know, just to see, like, oh, well, that sounds weird, she shouldn't say that here, etc. But, yeah, they did replace the AI with an actual voice actress, but I think it still needs a bit of work.
We should search these buildings for supplies before moving forward.
And I'd say probably half of the problems with the Alex voice acting is not... well, and even I said it wrong. It's not the voice acting, it's the audio levels. Now, who knows, the voice actress might have been, like, leaning into the mic a few times, maybe leaning it against, maybe turning their head. You know, they're probably not used to voice acting. But you can change those things. You can tweak those in post, you know, if at all possible. You know, if you have to. But, anyways. I don't think I have a save when the music is going, like, super nuts. Well, and I crashed. That's actually another problem I've been having with the mod quite a bit. But, well, and actually, in post, I'm going to make this all black because it was showing some stuff on my desktop that I don't want anyone to see. So I'm going to go ahead and load the game back up, though. There's a little intro. Yeah, and the mod starts off with you crashed. And it's kind of strange, too, because there's no bridge between episode 2 and crashing the helicopter. Like, I wouldn't expect a direct bridge, per se. I wouldn't expect us to be there with Eli while he's on the ground and, you know, basically being shown like a video of, oh, hey, well, Eli's dead and we buried him. You know, this isn't a Leon mod after all. But we got all gassed up and we went out. But there's no mention of Eli whatsoever from Alex, or like at one point she actually calls White Forest, which I will say the Kleiner and the Magnuson voice actors did a fantastic job. They actually sound quite a bit, especially Kleiner, oh my goodness, they sound quite a bit like the original voice actors. Magnuson not so much, but he did a really good job with it. But no one mentions Eli, which is just such a strange thing to me. Mossman's mentioned a few times, and obviously that would be the point of this, going to find Mossman. But, you know, you'd think that there would at least be a few things like, oh, my dad said this, or my dad brought this up, or, you know, I don't know. My boy deserves better. But anyways, this has been enough rambling. This has been much longer than I anticipated. In the very off chance that someone from the Infinite Finality team happens to watch this, no, I'm involved in source mods, quite a few actually, but I'm not a mapper per se. The best that I can do is go in and like make some, you know, quality of life changes is about the best that I've ever done. So certainly not a seasoned voice actor or anything. I have a couple parts in various mods and, you know, videos here and there, but, you know, nothing crazy. So take my opinions with a grain of salt, but I do think that there is definitely room for improvement, even in some of the map design. Like I said, I wouldn't say that the map layouts need to be changed. They just need to be illustrated to the player better. So when I come up on, there's quite a few of these throughout the maps that we played. When you come up on a Y, there should be some sort of indicator to the player that this is obviously the path you need to take, and this is obviously a side. In the Half-Life games, like, Valve's games, they usually did this with lights, or, it wouldn't actually be a Y. There'd be the very obvious path, and then, the other path would maybe be obfuscated by boxes, or the lights would be dim, and it'd be like a little small area that you can go to, and usually there's some kind of goodies back there, either road building or, items that you can pick up. By it. So yeah. Well, thanks for listening to the ramblings of this Half-Life nerd. Have a good day.